The Russians are coming, or to be more precise, a whole team of them. Rally drivers, cars and support crews to tackle their first event in the Middle East, the Jordan International Rally. 5 Group B larders have been entered for what is generally considered the best event in the Middle East Championship. It remains to be seen how the Iron Curtain's best team will fare over the desert stages. Most interest, however, centres around the 2 Manta 400s of the Silk Cut sponsored team for His Royal Highness Prince Abdullah, son of King Hussein, and Nabil Karam. The marketing director from the World Championship Thousand Lakes Rally in Finland, Ilpo Ruru, was on hand to observe the Jordan event and to present a film of his rally to His Highness to try and stimulate a visit to the colder climes of Finland, perhaps. For the time being, however, it's his own event which draws the Prince's attention. Someone else making the journey from Finland is Lassi Lampi, driving the works-entered Group A Mitsubishi Starion. Lampi won Group A on the previous round in Kuwait and is expected to dominate the group on this event also. It must be a real pleasure for him to speak his native tongue so far away from home. With 48 entries, the Jordan Rally has once again attracted the largest field of any Middle East event. The ruins of the old Roman amphitheatre in Amman are the splendid backdrop for the start venue, as reigning Middle East champion Mohammed bin Sulayem leads off for the first leg of 8 special stages. Behind him, arch rival Saeed Al-Hajri in the Porsche 911. Tony Georgiou and Michel Sala are non-starters, and so it's His Royal Highness Prince Abdullah who is next away in the Manta 400. Qatari driver Abbas Al-Massawi is next away in the Lotus Sunbeam, closely followed by Lassi Lampi in the Mitsubishi Starion. Abdullah Omar was another non-starter at number 8, so it was the Cyprus driver Christos Eliades who left the ramp next in his Manta 400. The second silk-cut car of Nabil Karam was off at number 10, with the Russian driver Stasis Brunza behind him in the first of the larders. The rally headed north from the Amman start for a series of gravel stages in the Jerash area. Mohammed bin Sulayem had a slow start when he thought he'd collected a puncture. He was beaten by no less than 22 seconds by Al-Hajri in the Porsche. Al-Hajri had a new co-driver for this event, Nigel Harris from Great Britain. Ironically, his co-driver from last season, John Spiller, was now sitting alongside Mohammed bin Sulayem. Prince Abdullah was some 4 seconds further back. But it was early days, and there is a long way to go yet. For Abbas Al-Massawi, the rally is short, but certainly not sweet, as he retires on this, the first stage, with transmission problems. Lassi Lampi is, not unexpectedly, the quickest Group A car, setting 6th fastest time over this opening test. Christos Eliades, on his first visit to Jordan, is coping well, finding the stages faster and more flowing than in his native Cyprus. Nabil Karam dropped time with electrical problems and could only make 13th fastest time in the Manta. Stasis Brunza was really pressing on well and was surprisingly only 30 seconds behind Bin Sulayem. Service at Jerash and the Lada team give the locals something to smile about, with their unique method of servicing, tipping the cars on their side to change the gearbox. Meanwhile, Nabil Karam's Manta gets the full attention of mechanics as they race to cure the electrical problem that has dropped him down the order. He seems happy enough, however, knowing the real meat of the rally is yet to come. No worries though in the Mitsubishi camp, where Lassie Lampi's Starion gets routine attention. New tyres and a general check-over, before heading off into the night for the run back to Amman. Day 2, and the rally heads south from Amman for 15 stages totalling over 200 kilometers. Al-Hajri leads after a trouble-free first leg. Behind him, Bin Sulayem's Toyota squirting around a narrow tarmac stage. Holding a good third place is Prince Abdullah, who, despite a clutch problem that had slowed him on the first leg, is going very well. On the tarmac stages, it's co-driver Bill Basie who does the driving. He's considered the tarmac expert, whilst the Prince is considered the expert on gravel. Lassie Lampi is dominant in Group A and holds 4th overall into the bargain. With a screech of brakes echoing through the trees, the fastest Russian, Tumul Jarvichus, slides into sight, putting in a spirited performance to hold 5th overall. Right behind him, local driver Hani Bisharat in the old Celica GT. Christos Eliades is taking things nice and easy and is in a comfortable 7th place overall. Languishing in 13th position after his electrical problems on the first leg is Nabil Karam. But his problems are slight compared to those of team leader Prince Abdullah.
Well, Hans, major problem in the stage. What's happened?
On the last bend, my co-driver, I think we just came a bit too fast. The slick tires weren't grabbing the road. He went off and the fence caught on the rear wheel, and I think it's damaged the back axle.
So it's a big axle change, is it?
I hope so.
How much time did you lose on the stage?
I think about 10 minutes. We had to get wire cutters to cut the fence from the wheel. It wrapped around.
More excitement for everybody.
So it seems.
Thank you.
Despite the best attention and efforts of the service crew to change the axle in the short time available, it was all to no avail, and Prince Abdullah was forced to retire. A great pity, as he was the only one likely to give the leaders a real run for their money. the dramas going on behind them, the leaders have already reached the real desert stages further south, in the Quantrana area. It is here on the run down to the rest halt in Petra that Saeed Al-Hadri loses the lead to Bin Sulayem, after the Toyota driver puts in a string of faster stage times. To marvel at the wonders of the ancient city of Petra, hewn out of the solid rock of this barren mountain range. Whilst drivers and co-drivers snatch a well-earned break, mechanics set about repairing the ravages of the day. Lassie Lampy's Mitsubishi had suffered a series of time-consuming punctures, but he still held third place, not too far behind rally leader Bin Sulayem. Mohammed's main problem had been a bent steering rack and the wastegate on the turbo, which needed changing here at Petra. All was not well either in the Porsche camp. Al-Hadri had lost fourth and fifth gears on the stages immediately before service, so a quick gearbox change was on the cards. The Russians, however, got carried away with things again, tipping the larder on its side for yet another gearbox change. Apparently, contrary to popular belief, oil, water and petrol does not flow out all over the place, and this method of quick transmission change has become the norm for the team. In the Middle East, there's always time to accept Arab hospitality and have a cup of tea. Tea was the last thing on the minds of Nabil Karam. His situation was not getting any better, and on the run south he'd had 2 punctures, a broken shock absorber and a broken clutch. Mechanics were also changing the gearbox as a precaution here at Petra.
You know, would you believe we haven't got 13
The run north back to Amman used most of the stages that had been used on the way down south. in the reverse direction. Consequently, some of the stages were considered rough and punctures were commonplace. Bin Sulayem continued to lead, with Al-Hajri not too far behind, ready to strike should he hit trouble. Hani Bisharat was setting his own pace, not threatening the leaders, but still in contention for top honours. Haile Aguilar, the manager of the rally headquarters, the Amman Marriott Hotel, reckoned he was getting too old for rallying. He was nevertheless putting in a good, solid performance to lie inside the top 10. Lassi Lampi, meanwhile, was not quite so fortunate. A major fault had developed with the car's engine management computer system, costing him a lot of time and dropping him right back to the end of the field. Nevertheless, he still kept going. As day 2 drew to a close, Mohammed bin Sulayem maintained his lead with yet more faster stage times. Saeed Al-Hajri reminds him every now and then that he's still a threat by snatching the odd fastest time himself to keep the contest close and maintain the pressure. Hani Bisharat is still third, albeit 22 minutes behind. The third and final leg was another haul down to the south, this time going little further than Quattrana, but taking in 11 stages totaling 130 kilometers. Of the original 48 starters, there was now only 22 survivors. Bisharat was taking no risks, and neither was Eliades in 4th place, right behind him. The gap, however, was just over 5 minutes. Local drivers George Kayat and Haile Aguilar were both locked in a closer battle in their respective Nissans. Only 2 minutes separated them, so there was a bit of tension building up here. Lassi Lampi, meanwhile, continued to struggle on with a far from healthy car. The computer management system was still playing up, costing him more and more time on every stage. At the Petra Rest House at Quattrana, there was a major service and mechanics checked and rechecked everything. But it was all to no avail, and he gradually dropped further and further down the field. The frustration and disappointment shows on Lampi's face, but he still presses on for Group A points. The leaders were having no worries at all, however, maintaining their own pace and staying out of trouble. Mohammed bin Sulayem continued to lead, the gap between him and Al-Hajri around about 5 minutes, and remaining fairly constant. Only a major disaster could snatch victory from the Toyota driver now. over the closing stages, the final order was decided. Group A eventually went to Lampi despite all his troubles. Stanislav Brunza took a well-deserved 10th place in the Lada. 9th, Haytham Mufti and Bill Gwynn in their Daihatsu. Another Lada made it into 8th position, and yet another, that of Rutgel, into 7th place, making it 3 Ladas in the top 10. A very creditable performance for the team on their first visit to the Jordan Rally. Dalal, who along with nearly everyone else had suffered a broken gearbox during the rally, took 6th position. George Kayat was pleased with his 5th place. His battle with Haile Aguila effectively over on the 3rd stage of the day, when Aguila's gearbox jammed in 2nd gear. He eventually finished 11th. Eliades was 4th overall, another good result considering it was his first visit to the rally. He promises to be back next year, and if so, could spring a few surprises. Third overall went to a delighted Hani Bisharat, first local driver home in his own Toyota Celica GT. Second, and that was what he said he'd go for right from the start, Saeed Al-Hajri, who maintains his lead in the championship, 22 points ahead of Mohammed bin Sulayem. It was Mohammed's victory, but with only 2 rounds left in the series, will it be sufficient to help him to the championship title for the 2nd year in succession? Only time will tell. The Jordan Rally is now acknowledged as the best event in the Middle East Rally Championship Series, both in terms of organisation and for its mixture of superb tarmac and desert special stages. It remains to be seen if it will ever achieve the long-held ambition and aim of clerk of the course Derek Ledger to make it into the World Championship Series.